Senator Daines.
Chief Moore, this is a time of discussion as fires continue to multiply across our country. Many important forest management projects that would decrease the risk of catastrophic wildfires have been halted by litigation. In fact, in Montana alone, 300 million board feet, in fact, more than 300 million board feet is tied up by litigation. This stops the removal of hazardous fuels that are surrounding our communities as well as other high-risk areas. And just the threat of legal action forces the Forest Service to spend additional time making projects bulletproof against litigation. In fact, there's a small project in Montana where the Forest Service planned to harvest just over 1,000 acres, but spent 19 months from scoping to decision and created a 183-page environmental assessment. My bill that I have to fix the Ninth Circuit Cottonwood decision that passed this committee last May would be crucial in preventing some of the litigation that is stopping wildfire mitigation work, and I'll continue to urge its passage in the full Senate. I know it'd be a huge help for what you all have to do. But it's critical, in the meantime, that the Forest Service press forward with forest management projects and on-the-ground work. The Forest Service treated 4.3 million acres in fiscal 2023, with nearly half of those treatment acres being prescribed fire, and of those acres, nearly 3/4 being done in the South. While it's good that there is necessary work being done across the country, there are crisis landscapes in Montana and across the West where it's a bit more arid that need focus. The state of Montana, looking on the state efforts, more than tripled their acres treated from 2020 to 2023. At the same time, the Forest Service increased acres by about 34%, again, while the state of Montana tripled. We need to see the Forest Service follow the lead we're seeing in Montana from our state and place a greater emphasis and a sense of urgency on increasing treated acres. My question for you, Chief Moore, is why does the Forest Service fiscal year 25 budget decrease the target number of acres treated from fiscal year 24?
So here again, Senator, there's a lot there, so I'll try and respond to it in its entirety. When you look at our budget now, a lot of our budget goes toward hazardous fuel reduction, not timber production. When I look at the amount of timber that we are providing, we've seen a steady increase. I'll go national, but I'll come down to Montana. We've seen an increase over the last 20 years of about 30% increase in timber. And so while that perception is out there that we're not producing timber, it's not accurate when you look at what we're actually doing. Now, more specifically to Montana, I've gone out with Governor Gianforte to visit. I think it was the Basin Creek watershed area there where you have a community there that's threatened by wildfires. And as a result of what the state is doing, we match that to really treat the Basin Creek watershed area there. Montana in and of itself is our leader across the country in good neighbor authority and using that authority. And so we have a lot of really good work taking place in Montana. I will also tell you that Montana is our most litigious state in the country when it comes to forest products types of projects. And so you have a lot of that coming to bear there. But here again, I think that entire region, when I look at Montana and Idaho for that matter, they're doing some really excellent work with good neighbor authority and really getting work done.
You know, and thanks for coming out to Montana too and spending time with our governor. I appreciate that and seeing it firsthand. Just the bigger question though is why would the target decrease from 4.2 million to 4 million? I mean, at a time when we need more treatment, your target actually decreased year over year.
No, our target's actually gone up. When I look at the 2025,
Make sure we're talking the same numbers. At least what my numbers show is FY '24, the target was 4.2 million acres.
oh, it has fuel.
It's fuel for
I was thinking timber.
hazardous fuel reduction. And the FY '25 target is 4 million. So it's 200,000 acres less in terms of your target. That's the question. Why would it go down?
Yeah, I was thinking you meant timber production, not
Right.
acres treated.
I'm talking hazardous fuel reduction.
Yeah, so one reason the budget has gone down in has fuel reduction. And so
And why would we take the budget down in hazardous fuel reduction?
well, we had a loss in IRA. We've had a lot of increase in costs. You know,
Because, you think about it, if you're reducing hazardous fuels, it's a way to try to preempt catastrophic wildfires, which are very expensive to fight once they begin.
Right, and the fundamental question that I was saying earlier that I think we really have to talk about, what is that new performance metric? Is it protecting communities? And is it protecting those critical watersheds that these communities depend on? And if it is, those acres are more expensive to treat. And where we have been measured by the numbers of acres achieved or treated, we have put ourselves in a position where we're doing random acts of restoration across the landscapes now because of that metric of outputs. And while that's important, Senator, what we're finding through the wildfire crisis strategy, what's even more important is protecting communities. And if you agree with that, then perhaps we need to look at outcomes based on the work that we're doing. Also, you have a lot of steep slopes that we're trying to get to. All of that is more expensive to try and achieve, and you do less work because it takes more to work in those
Well,
areas.
it's just, thank you for that. I know you're balancing competing priorities in terms of cost, but it's just troubling at a time when we're seeing increasingly buildups of hazardous fuels that the target of the Forest Service actually went down year over year. From 4.2 million to 4 million. I mean, you've got to look at where you got to spend, where you got to target. But I raise that as a real concern when you think about that's an investment too to try to reduce the cost to fight catastrophic wildfires. This is kind of pay me now or pay me later, and you pay a lot more later.
Well, give you an example. Last year, our target was 4 million, and we actually achieved 4.3 million. And so we achieved more than what our target was. In this year, for 25, when you look at where the budget is going, we don't have the same level of budget to do that amount of work, coupled with the areas that we're working in now, which is more expensive.
Thank you. I've got to respect my colleagues' time. I'm over my time, Chief. Thank you.